Winning the Delano Pole Award for the series' annual visit to the Grand Detour of Western Illinois is Luciano Salvarol in car number 5, his 4th pole of the year. Arto Kakinen on the outside has not exactly had race results to show how fast he's been all year. Chris Johans and Leonid Roderick, two veterans of the short track wars, in row number 2. Devereaux and Clavino in row 3 in the Hodges Walter cars. Raquetta and Rachel Rainsford in row 4. Tony Durbin is back, and Davina Henton have both been quick all week. Dwyer and Rossini have struggled a little bit for long-run pace. Pliskin and D'Souza have both been quick all year. Jacob Card and Zelda Ashby and the EFR boys have all been respectable all week. Kuznetsov was actually fastest in final practice in car 15. Look out for him when the green flag drops. Stoidler and Carroll are both looking for a little bit more, I think, and Frank Azure in his promoter's option alongside Garth McAllister. Stan Hall is in this race as an Independence Trophy, and Joel Lennox hopes that he'll finish this race cleanly. Craig Mummert almost won this race a few years ago. Tom Moore has been second here, I do believe, on 2 different occasions. Chris Davenport won here last year, and he came all the way from the back to do it. Ryan Griffin in the 57 car has also been decently quick. Maximus has really struggled for pace, and so has Tutino. And the only car that has failed to qualify for this race, Dalton Johnson. That's because of a practice crash, and that car didn't even go out for qualifying, and that car was subsequently withdrawn. Here's Luciano Salvarol leading the field to the green in that black 5 car as he leads the field of 42 into 1, and Arto Kakinen gets a terrible start, but that's fairly typical, as here you see Johans and Devereaux sweep by. Here we go into 3 and 4. This track asymmetrical, making it kind of like a miniature version of Darlington, and not only that, but the racing, there's more than one racing line around this track as opposed to Darlington. Track very wide as we're looking at the SUA International car of Chris Davenport, the 84 car. Davenport is on a mission for it, and that 24 car of Garth McAllister Jr. does not look, looks very nervous right now. Davenport trying to work his way forward. He hasn't been, whoa, we got contact there with the 17 of Kingston, then the 2 DeGarmo cars, the 2 DeGarmo drivers. Kingston has hit the wall at the end of the pit wall there, but they've gotten that car out. The 2 DeGarmo drivers their drives are under threat, and the field, of course, pitted to check tire wear because tires are always an issue here. Tony Durbin didn't do that. He was the only car to stay out, and considering that most people were qualified on tires that had about 10 laps of wear in them, they all opted to change to stickers. I think you'll see that happen fairly often. And the slow speed in the pits is usually what, slow pit speed limit is usually what causes cars to go lap down very early, as you may have seen there, as Adrian Devereaux takes over the lead of the race. And Scott Bates is in the wall in the 88. Oh, Woodard into the side of the 74 of Anderson, and Joe Olenek is in the wall there. Oh, and Cameron Taylor comes flying in. That's 10 laps into this race, and we've got 2 cautions already. That's not terribly unusual. And there you see the 26 car caught out. Cameron Taylor, he's definitely going to be out. Cameron Taylor, car number 26, just caught out, and he just piled right into that one. But Woodard definitely looked like he shoved up into the 74 there. As we're now looking at Frank Azure, who took the lead took the lead on that restart, as Luciano Salvarol in the 5 was given a black flag, a stop and go for jumping the start. And when I mean jumping the start, it wasn't really close. As here is that 46 car. Some people think that Frank Azure's inclusion into this race is the promoter's sixth sense of humor. I wouldn't exactly put it past him, but this is honestly the best he's looked his entire career. This 46 team has been on the pace all week, and it's just a shame it won't count for independence points. As here is Kuznetsov and Adrian Devereaux making contact. Kuznetsov slides it sideways. And that is what happens when you get a guy who with a background in rallying into a TM Master Cup Series car. Kuznetsov has been fun to watch all year, as we're looking at Rachel Rainsford in car number 31 running in 3rd. She's never won a race with a career this is her 10th season in the series. Granted, she's been part-time, I think, for the past 5 years, so doesn't have a regular ride, but the ride she does have is capable of winning. But she doesn't get too many runs in that car, as we got a yellow flag out. Here's why. Ben Atkins into the wall, comes right in front of everyone's favorite punching bag at the moment, Joe Olenek in the 23 car. Olenek got hit by somebody. It was a little hard to make out who it was. It was a red car. There were a lot of red cars at the back of the field. There's a lot of blue cars at the front of the field. So take that for what it's worth. Here's Gaspar de Souza, who took the lead on the restart. This is the easiest car to pick out. I wish there were more cars that were fairly distinctive looking, like this that very distinctive teal and black design that Cleffer Media employs on all of their cars. As somebody's in the wall, it looks like Davenport. As that's fairly ordinary. Here is Scott Bates, who's not a... Whoa! He's got a trouble in front of him. Olenek into another one. Joe Olenek, I think, is going to be hitting the antidepressants, and it's good to see that he has one on his car. Sponsoring him as Joe Olenek rolls the 23 car. He's really not had a good couple of weeks. No fault of his own, really. That's usually when you get in the back of the field here. Now, what happened to the 777 car? Why is he going so slow? He's usually slow. Car's usually having some kind of problem, but anyway, Joe Olenek is not been having a good couple of weeks as Kurt Pliskin leads on the restart and is very courteous to the lap cars. I don't know why he would want to do that, especially when he's got Tony Durbin breathing down his neck. Durbin in that 56 car. Whoa, Tony Durbin moving over a little bit on D'Souza. I don't think he saw him there, and there he goes, Tony Durbin being very gentlemanly, and D'Souza takes the lead. The young Portuguese, Gaspar de Souza, moves up into P1. The oval in Darlington, very similar to this track, as I mentioned, in particularly that it's got a lot of banking to it, especially near the wall. Gaspar de Souza, of course, winning Darlington, and whoa! Here's a guy coming to the front. Craig Mummert is now, last time by, he was scored in 4th place. The 52 is Richard Scott, and there is Carlos Raqueta. A lot of guys we don't normally see at the front here are now running very well. Whoa! The 114 moves over a little bit on Rocky, but Carlos Raqueta sticks his nose in. There he goes. No, not quite. As Mummert hangs on in the 114 car. And you got Scott peeking in on the inside, and it looks like Ryan Griffin might be... No, that's Olenek. That's Joe Olenek merging from the pit lane. Mummert now a little bit high. He's in the wall. Mummert's in the wall, the former Bolden factory driver in the 114 car. Looking now at Carlos Raqueta as he's putting Ben Ekins a lap down, and he's moving around Tony Durbin. The Katzivs have been handling very well here. They are running the same engines that Hodges Walter Racing was running, but we understand that for this race they've opted to run, and for this race and for Ohio actually, they're running last year's motor because apparently it gives the Katziv cars a better weight balance on the short ovals, and that is an interesting choice. But horsepower not really as important here. Handling definitely is. Handling is king here. And you got a good car that handles well. You will be coming to the front in a hurry as Melanie Clavino just goes right by Carlos Raqueta, and a bit of wheel banging there. Clavino now moving in front of Ian Cooper, who is usually about 45 degrees sideways anyway. Here is the race leader, Gaspar de Souza. The KLTV car number 60. Black Diamond Racing is definitely the surprise ticket of the year. And I think we all expected de Souza to be fast, but I don't think we would have all thought he would have been a repeat winner at this stage of the year. And we've had a yellow out. We're going to find out what for. Contact with... Rossini pushes up into Richard Scott. Tony Durbin, Packer Carroll in the 18 car. The Ultor car. The Ultor International 18 of Packer Carroll. We do believe that Juho Kivela will be driving at Ohio and might be replacing Carroll next year. But that would be a bit of a disappointment as we are at 1/4 distance and Carlos Raqueta is in the lead. And with Ashby in second, Roderick third, as you see on the scoring on the left. Now, I think what some people might be wondering is why everyone would pit as often as they are under every yellow. Well, usually what ends up happening is Roderick makes a move to the inside of Ashby, and around the 14 car, Leonid Roderick to the lead in that orange Aperture Science Volpe, trying to put Tom Moore a lap down. Ashby going by Raqueta, but as I was saying, the reason I think everyone pits under just about every yellow, at least to top off fuel, is once you get a long run going here at Grand Detour, you can make it to a fuel stint, through a whole fuel stint, and you don't really want to be caught with less fuel in the car because that means you're going to be in the pits, and if you have a slow pit speed, guess what? You're probably going multiple laps down. In fact, I can almost guarantee that a pit stop here will cost you not 1, but sometimes 2 laps, possibly 3 if you're really unlucky. So, that being said, I think everyone would want to stay out as long as possible. Would not be wanting to stay out if there's a yellow. Here is Rachel Rainsford in car number 31, the third driver for the Volpe Racing Team. We do understand that she will be at Road America as well, and that'll be good to see Rachel in a fast car. Hopefully she'll have a run at breaking her winless streak there, because the Volpes are dynamite quick this year. Just a little bit more luck, I think. We'll see them winning more often, as we're looking at Melanie Clavino, who is one of the 3 drivers in the series that have multiple wins as the Manticore guys get together. Oh, no! Those guys have been running like best friends all year, and Packer Carroll just turned his teammate. Now, granted, we've seen a different Packer Carroll show up most of this year. Oh, whoa, what's this here? As Woodard, no, Greg Woodard runs over Kakinen and Luciano Savarol, and Luciano is furious. He's punching his steering wheel at that, just in disgust. Now, hang on a minute. Packer Carroll brings out a caution, and then puts himself in the lead of the race. Well, that might be one of the most brilliant strategies I've ever seen. I've never heard of someone doing that before. Except maybe, I think Leonid Roderick might have done that at Ohio a few years ago. Spun out, brought out a caution, and it ended up putting him in the lead. But Packer Carroll did that by wrecking his teammate. Granted, his teammate Lewis Kingston's still in the race, but that's a different Packer Carroll. That's the Packer Carroll of a few years ago that I think would have done that. But needless to say, he's not going to hold the lead. Roderick's going to fly right on by. And Ashby's going to fly right on by as well. Oh, whoa, the 18's in the wall. The Manticore cars have not been handling very well all weekend. You can see that right there. Roderick now wants to catch Adrian Devereaux, because I do believe this Devereaux has actually put himself back in the lead lap, because I think he lost a lap under one of the earlier yellows. Here is Arto Kakinen in car number 9. 40s. Oh, Woodard's in the wall again. Whoa! Oh, the 46 goes around, and Frank Azure, who was running in 4th, he slides across the line, but he took the yellow doing that. So I think he is actually still going to be in 4th. That's not quite so bad after all, but FAC Motorsports has not really had... Yes, he did actually. He was allowed to keep his position. He pitted along with everyone else, except for Yulia Nasova and Scott Stoidler, who found themselves 1st and 2nd. But hey, that was actually a pretty good break for Frank Azure. He spun, but he kept his position because the yellow was already thrown, and he spun across the line. You don't get... That is some good luck right there, but there's Ian Cooper jamming up the field, and this Lynx car, now leading the race, appears to actually not be handling so bad. Neither one of the Lynx's drivers... Uh-oh. Nasova's pitting and bringing him in. Something's not right with that car. And we're being told that was a black flag given because the 10 reportedly jumped the start. That's an interesting penalty. I've never seen that called before, because that didn't look like a jump to me. As we're now looking at Dan McKay hitting the wall and pulling right into Pliskin. Now, I don't know why Dan McKay felt he needed to do that, because he pulled the car right out. Dan McKay is scraping the car across the wall, pulls it off the wall right into the 16, which turns the 16 across. Oh no, we've got 2 cars rolling. One of them is Hull, and the other one looks like Craig Mummert. That was a vicious hit for both of those guys. Hull climbing out of that one. That was a vicious check into the boards. Hampton just pulls right up into the 114 and the 09, and both of them go tumbling down this banking here, and both of them are going to be out, which is a huge disappointment, because those are not only both Independence Trophy cars, but those guys were going to have a great day if everything stayed well, if their cars hadn't been flipped over, let's put it that way, as Devereaux now trying to unlap himself again. Car number 7 got set back early with earlier pit lane mishaps. He's gotten himself by Roderick now, and he's going to try to stay in front of car number 4. One of the cats is right behind him. I think that's Rocky in the 14 car. Kuznetsov has surprisingly not made his way to the front yet. And here is Azure, who's running up in 7th. Man, Frank Azure's really showing him, really showing everyone the ropes here, because as the 56 car, Tony Durbin pits, reports of the tire going down on that car. Durbin apparently smacked the wall, and that's put tire rub on that car. It's not what he wants. As Frank Azure lets the 19 go by, as Riquetta and Clavino resume battle for second position here. Roderick's gotten by Devereaux. Clavino has gone by the number 14 car as Ashby in car 55 begins to make her presence known in Riquetta's rear view mirror. The Colombian is doing a pretty good job so far, Carlos Riquetta is, but we'll see if he's able to keep this up the whole race, all race long, because he hasn't really shown the ability to keep the car intact lately, as Kevin Dwyer appears to have pitted the 8 car. I saw that car on the apron, car number 8. So Dwyer having a pretty miserable day, as it doesn't look like the Gesslers have a really good weight balance on those cars. And that's really critical here, especially with those rather sudden transitions of the banking in turns 3 and 4. Ashby in car 55 looking for her second win of the year and her first ever on an oval, as we're looking now at Alessandro Rossini in the 3 car, also looking for his first win on an oval. And he probably could have won Carbondale if he would have been able to get through traffic a little bit quicker, but Rossini in car number 3 still keeping himself in the hunt. And here's Tom Moore in car number 19. Of course, Owen DeGarmo, the usually very taciturn Owen DeGarmo, put out a press release saying that his drivers needed to pick up, or they wouldn't be in his cars for the rest of the year. And Tom Moore is delivering, and this has been one of Tom Moore's better tracks throughout his career. He's always run very well here in driver car 19, and really I think that's a bit surprising. Oh no! The motor's gone on Davenport's car. He's been in the wall a few times, which isn't really a surprise, but Davenport, who was the winner here last year, will not be a winner today. The 84 car, SUA International on the car, he is out of the race, and that is a big disappointment because Davenport needed a bit of a morale booster. And there you see the number of cars still on the lead lap. It's not a very large number. Devereaux, notably, has actually put himself back on the lead lap in car number 7. All 3 Volpes are there. Azure is there, and Henton is there. Riquetta leads in the Katsev. His teammate is in second. Kuznetsov has made it to the front, and now we'll see Riquetta versus Kuznetsov in wheel-to-wheel battle. We haven't seen them race each other very often, and that's been with those two I've really wanted to see. The sort of a fiery Colombian versus the cool and collected Russian, as Riquetta's pulling away from Kuznetsov, who appears to be mired behind Ben Atkins, and Ben Atkins is one of the few drivers that can go 3 wide all by himself, so if I was Kuznetsov, I'd be very wary. Here's Moore now running up in 10th. He's the first car off the lead lap, putting on a hell of a show in this 19 car, doing everything he can to save his drive, and if I'm Owen DeGarmo, I'm keeping Tom Moore. Despite some of the errors he made earlier, he is clearly showing that he's the better of the two over at DeGarmo Delgado Enterprises, as Leonid Roderick has gotten by Kuznetsov and is making a run at Carlos Riquetta. Roderick back to the point in car number 4, the Aperture Science Volpe. He is trying to pull away from Riquetta, and he's doing so. Clavino now going by the 14. Has Riquetta burned off his tires too quickly? It certainly looks like he has, as Clavino goes into second place. The Swiss driver looking for her 3rd win of the year in the Aratel machine. She is pulling away now from the 2 Katsevs, who are beginning to fade a little bit, it looks like. And now we're going to see Clavino take Roderick on, as Henton has gotten around the 15. Davina Henton, the rear end all kicked up on that car, and she is really flying in this 11 car. This has been one of Henton's better performances on an oval so far, as Kuznetsov looks to take the position back. Devereaux is coming in that 7 car you see in the background, the Killer Shark. We've called that car. Adrien Devereaux, the Frenchman, the former 2-time champion, now working on Kuznetsov, as Melanie Clavino has caught Roderick, and Roderick has caught traffic. That is Benoit Vukler, and Clavino is going to go through 3 wide off of 2, and Melanie Clavino boxes Roderick behind 2 lap cars, and the young Swiss driver, who I've often criticized as being very weak in traffic, is clearly hell-bent on proving me wrong. Strada now begins to hunt down Roderick in the 4 in car number 14. Adrien Devereaux now, he's gotten around Henton and he's gotten around Kuznetsov, and there is Ben Atkins and Benoit Vukler in a great wall of inanity as we're looking back at Frank Azure in the 46, who is still in 8. Here is Clavino, though, putting him a lap down. Azure in that 46 car can only hold on so long, but he is still running very, very well as Clavino now pulls in. This is a scheduled green flag pit stop for Melanie Clavino and Leonid Roderick, as the 46 will inevitably unlap himself, and after that cycle of pit stops, as you can see on the scoreboard, Adrien Devereaux is now the race leader in car number 7. Clavino is right behind him in the 2 car, and Clavino is going to take the lead back. It's a Hodges Walter 1-2 at the moment, and they've swapped positions as Clavino now moves in front of the points leader. Adrien Devereaux now back to 2nd. There you see the scoreboard now. Clavino now on top. Roderick is in 3rd, then the Katzevs. Henton still hanging on the lead lap in car number 11. This is a great showing from Davina Henton, and that's what she needs right now. So you see one of the Katzevs in the background, Raketa, as there's Kuznetsov now in the 15, working his way around the 92 car. That's Azuma Kazuyama, who has somehow kept that car relatively clean. Kazuyama has been had a lot of drama here in the past. This has not been one of his better racetracks. Actually, his teammate Dan McKay is having a pretty good run, and so is Kuznetsov. Here is Raketa now working around Rachel Rainsford, and Rachel's day has not exactly gone as planned. Rachel has struggled mightily in car number 31, but I think Volpe wants to give her the best shot possible of qualifying for and having a good run at Indianapolis, which is in a few weeks' time. As Ryan Griffin, that 57 car you see Raketa going by, is actually having a pretty good run. This is going to be a great run for his Independent Trophy pit, as Roderick is pitting the 4 in car number 4 into the pits. That might be a little bit early, but now Davina Henton in car 11 is about to lose a lap. She's fighting for it. These 2 were teammates last year at Lynx Racing, and Melanie Clavino thoroughly gave Davina Henton a run for her money. I was about to say beat the pants off Henton, but I had to catch myself there. I forgot Henton won 2 races and Clavino didn't over there when they were teammates. Devereaux pits the 7 car. Oh, whoa! Raul Luciano tried to clean out Greg Woodard and put himself in the wall. That looks like that was payback from earlier. And if I'm Luciano Savaral, I might want to try that again, because Woodard got away with that one. But that is certainly a yellow that Adrien Devereaux didn't want to see, because we got 3 cars on the lead lap. It's Clavino versus the Katzevs. Yes, the Katzevs have held on, it looks like, and Davina Henton in the 11 car restarted in the outside lane as well. So I wouldn't rule out the 11 car yet. Clavino against the Katzevs. It's going to be a 25-lap trophy dash, or rather 22-lap trophy dash. So there's not many laps to go, as Ben Atkins in the 50 car is running the 3 wide by himself. It looks like he's hanging on as best he can, but Ben Atkins has often not been the best at hanging on. He's doing the best he can with that 50 car right now. He's been a bit of a bad backmarker all year. He lets the 31 go, but Kuznetsov trying to get by so we can have a run at his teammate. As there is Carlos Raketa in car 14. having a run now, giving the best he can, the best shot he can of catching Melanie Clavino. He made his debut a little over a year ago, and he has been oh so close to getting his first win, as we've got an accident. There is Ben Atkins, there is Rossini, who is running in 5th. Alessandro Rossini spins near pit entry, and Craig Mummert was involved in that as well in the 114 car. Now we've got 14 to go. Melanie Clavino, great restart. The Hodges Walter car. Clavino running a bit low, though in car number 2 is I wonder now if Melanie Clavino if she might have noticed something was wrong right when she came to the green. There's Devereaux sliding behind her. Devereaux going to be a wingman for his teammate to give Clavino a win. Possibly. It looks like we've got some team orders in effect already as Carlos Riquetta in the 14 gives chase. He's got just under 15 laps to go to get there in this 14 car. Can Cats of Engineering steal the win from the juggernaut Hodges Walter Racing? Carlos Riquetta trying to chase down his teammate, his own teammate, because Kuznetsov has faded and a yellow has come out. Here's Frank Azure. We're about to look at why. Azure gets into the side. Oh no! His good run might have come undone. No, he's going to still be in it. He's getting it back together. I don't think he's going to lose too many positions. It's too late in the race, and there's so many cars a lap down. I might have been right earlier, and I said Clavino she might have noticed something going wrong, and there was definitely a tire that looks like it was going down slowly on car number 2. She's pulled it to the inside, and Melanie Clavino is in trouble. This is going to give Carlos Riquetta the lead with under 10 laps to go. Is the Colombian on the verge of his first win in the series? Yes, Clavino she's gonna still be on the lead lap though. Better than it going out under green. She's gonna be 3rd, but it's under 10 to go. Single file restart, and it's Riquetta versus Kuznetsov, but Kuznetsov has to get there first, and I don't see Kuznetsov having a good shot at it, but Devereaux is being very slow. The 7 car getting in the way as best he can, it looks like. Devereaux might be trying to force Riquetta into a mistake to get his teammate back up there and force a green-white checkered possibly. As Kuznetsov is having some problems getting through traffic, Devereaux and Riquetta I think might have caught on because he is not even trying to get a run on the 7 car. As Kuznetsov is fighting tooth and nail to get through traffic, but there's cars just faster than him, faster than what he has, that are getting in the way as Luciano Savarol fills his mirrors. Kuznetsov, it's a tough assignment for Kuznetsov to get through this many cars as quickly as and get up to his teammate, who is also being impeded by the 7 car of Devereaux. Riquetta has only half a lap to go, and the 7 car is nowhere near him. Coming out of 4, Carlos Riquetta, driving for Cats of Engineering, takes his first career win at Quincy. And in every single one of Cats of Engineering's wins, they've gotten 1, 2. Melanie Clavino is the only other car on the lead lap, and Clavino quickly left the track. Stuck around for podium celebrations, but Melanie Clavino very, very downcast. This is one that definitely got away. Davina Henson in 4th, was very happy to get 4th. Savarol got a good 5th place out of it. Rossini a good points day. Frank Azure needs to be given a big pat on the back. He ran with the big boys and girls of the series all race long. Had 2 spins, kept it going, got 7th. Talk about a breakout day for not only Carlos Riquetta, but for Frank Azure as well. Well done for FAC Motorsports. Adrian Devereaux, Leonid Roderick, and Arto Kekkonen rounded out the top 10. All 3 of them got solid points days, which I think was really all they were after. Rachel Rainsford got a solid 11th place. I think Rachel wanted a little bit more out of that. I think Tom Moore might have saved his drive with that 12th place finish. I don't know about his teammate, though. Scott Stoidler got a good 13th. Greg Woodard in 14th. I think Woodard is not exactly on Luciano Savarol's Christmas card list at the end of the year. Packer Carroll and Lewis Kingston finished nose to tail. Benoit Vukler and Dan McKay brought damaged cars home. Dan McKay in particular did a pretty good job to bring his car home. Kurt Pliskin and brought home a very damaged car. And Ryan Griffin had several pit stops that he didn't need to make. but 20th place is still very good when you consider he's an Independence Trophy car. Now let's have a look at the Drivers' Championship after 13 races. We're just past halfway in the year, and Melanie Clavino has only a 1-point lead over her teammate. Yes, you see that. 1 point is the separation between Clavino and Devereaux. Luciano Salvarol just 3 points out of the lead. So we've got a real title fight heating up here. Rossini and Kekkonen are still very much in range, as is Leonid Roderick in car number 4. Kekkonen and Roderick have stayed there through consistency. Neither of them have won a race yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see them take a win fairly soon. Ashby in the 55 is hanging on tough, as is Scott Bates and Kevin Dwyer, and with 2 wins, Gaspar de Souza needs a little consistency, I think, if he's to be considered a serious contender. But just like last year, Gaspar de Souza is sort of bringing up the rear of the guys and girls that still have a legitimate shot at the title. Davina Henton on 221. Now it's starting to get a little marginal. Henton and Woodard are going to need multiple wins, I think, to get in contention. Kuznetsov is ahead of his teammate Raqueta in points, but I think they're both going to need a little bit of help to insert themselves as championship contenders. Nasova, Pliskin, Ian Cooper. I would regard anyone from Cooper on down as being kind of out of it, I think, unless we get a lot of big wrecks in Indianapolis and someone down there ends up winning it. Jacob Card rounds out the top 20 in the championship, and David Krikorian, with only a handful of appearances, is still 19th in the championship. I think that just tells you how well Krikorian has been running and his limited appearances in that 04 car. Now let's have a look at the Independence Trophy after 13 races. We can get a good picture as to how it's going to shape up, probably. Ryan Griffin up to second. Of course, he's still got 1 race to go in car number 57. Frank Azure, I think he is pleading for the officials to change the rule on the fly to get this result included as an Independence Trophy race, because then Frank Azure would probably be leading the Independence Trophy quite with a pretty sizable margin, actually. So I think Azure, in particular, is going to be a little disappointed about that bit, but given the run he had today, he can't be too disappointed. All 20 of the 21 Independence Trophy cars have taken a run. The one that hasn't, Robert Nelson, we're not even sure if that team is going to even get off the ground. They were supposed to show up for Cariala, didn't, and they're supposed to be in Indianapolis, and we haven't heard if they're going to actually be there or not. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. The next race will be another short track, and it'll be the Ohio Motor Speedway, the shortest track on the calendar.